the Everest comes knocking on your door, you can't say no. We were going to go in Ramadan. Put myself through that test and I thought about breaking it. I managed to speak to my family. I actually fell into a crevasse.
I think I'm ready for my first rotation.
But we did, and it did really good. So let's go.
This is the beginning. Stay tuned.
A lot of people ask me quite often why I chose to climb Everest during the month of Ramadan. My simple answer is it was the climbing season and I had no choice but to climb it during that time. Thing is, what people don't know is in 2021, I went to Ama Dablam. I tried to climb the mountain and I had a bit of an issue there.
In the hospital, I had to get picked up by a rescue helicopter because I thought I was a bit delusional.
And I came back and I didn't know where my life was going with regards to climbing. And I thought, you know, what am I going to do? And then a TV channel came knocking on my door and asked me what I wanted to do. And I didn't know what to say. And I just said Everest. And they said, let's have a chat. So I went down to the office. We closed the deal and we were going to go in Ramadan. This was part of their Ramadan campaign as well, where we raised money. We ended up raising £250,000 that year for the charity during my challenge. I went there and I just got on with it. It was a good opportunity to test myself. In 21, I ran 5 back-to-back half marathons, whilst I was fasting. And these weren't just like ordinary, plodding along marathons. There were sub 140 marathons after I'd fasted the whole day, and it was towards the end of the day as well. For me, I just saw it as the next challenge up, and as a mountaineer, if the Everest card comes knocking on your door, you can't say no. So I decided to go and put myself through that test, and we did it quite emphatically in 21 days. So usually Mount Everest takes around 45 days on average to complete. You have to do 2 or 3 rotations before you wait for the summit and go up. But I managed to do it in 21 days. I didn't go there to do it in 21 days, but it was just an accident because I wanted to spend the first half of Ramadan at home with my family before I went out on a climb that I may never come back from. But I did it. I spent the 2 weeks and then I got to Nepal, spent a few days in Kathmandu. When I got to base camp, the plan was for me to do the acclimatization. We were going to do 2 rotations. By the time I'd reached base camp, the team were on the 2nd rotation. I was told that I could get the rotations in, get my summit a little bit later than the group. But when I got there, the Sherpas were like, you know what, it's probably better to do it as a group.
And I think I'm ready for my first rotation. Enter the Icefall, I send him to Camp 1, spend the night there, and then the next morning we'd go up to Camp 2, have some lunch, get acclimated, and then come back down, sleep in Camp 1, and then come back to base camp. That's the plan.
You don't stick together as a group anyway because different people are climbing at different speeds. After the 2nd night in Camp 2, I went up to the Lhotse face. I found it quite easy and simple, and I got there and I thought to myself, I'm not going to go up that when I come back. However I push myself, I'll get to Camp 3 and I know there's going to be oxygen. If I don't get another rotation, that's the plan. We stuck to that. I got back to Camp 2, ascended to base camp from Camp 2 and waited for a weather window, and that was it. A lot of the times people will ask me how I manage the calories and the fasting start and end times, suhoor and iftar. But the thing is, it wasn't that difficult at the timings. You eat at dawn.
Feeling alright. It's not harder than yesterday, but I don't know, man. Feeling hungry.
And you break your fast at dusk. In base camp, it was quite easy and simple. We were just waiting around. On the way up to base camp, which was the majority of my fasting time, I usually get the lodge owners to make me some food. What they usually did was just make the food, put it in a container and sealed it as best as possible to try and keep it warm, but it was never warm. So I'd wake up before dawn, I'd get my food in and then go back to sleep for a bit. We would just wake up and continue our journey. The journeys were really hard trekking to base camp. My throat was so dry that you can light a match on it. That's how intense it was. But nevertheless, I just did it because I had to do it because it's my faith and I just got to go on with it. Life has to go on, and your faith is built around your life, or maybe the other way around for some people. But yeah, that's how I actually dealt with it. It wasn't too difficult. I knew the script, but I just had to get my body ready and adjusted for it. So this was it. Motivated, excited to get out of here, get up to the next stop and carry on what we did. And it did really good. So let's go. See, the thing is, on my rotation, I was fasting. There was a point where I thought about breaking it, and the next few days were quite easy because it was just like a 4-hour trip to Camp 2. We go there and we just rest in the daytime, and there's not much, activities unless you go for a walk up to the Lhotse wall or something like that. But by the time I got down from my rotation, it was Eid. Fasting had been over, so on my summit push, I actually didn't fast because I didn't have to. When I got back to base camp on that particular day, we just waited for the summit push. I managed to speak to my family. I actually fell into a crevasse on the way down because I was meant to spend an extra night there, but I thought to myself, I've done the acclimatization, I've gone up as high as I could. There's no point me staying in Camp 2. In order to go down, I was actually hungry and I wanted some Coca-Cola and maybe a pizza or something in base camp.
I want a pizza when I get down to fucking base camp.
Because it's available there. I told him I need to go down, and I told myself if I want to have that, I need to get down. So let's do it. We went down, and then I remember coming to a crevasse. Usually crevasses, some of them are like, foot, half a foot, 2 foot. This particular crevasse was 3 foot. Easily jumpable, it's only a meter. We just hop across them. If they're too big, there's ladders. I'm sure you've all seen the ladders. What happened is I looked at this crevasse, and it was sort of like, I'm standing on this side and the other bank was a little bit higher, and I just stood there scratching my head thinking, that other side's a little bit higher, I don't think I'm going to make it. If I want to get off the mountain, I need to get past it anyway. I just thought, you know what, I'm going to go for it. I jumped, my right foot landed on the bank, but my left foot went straight down and I went down with it. So I was hanging there for about 40 minutes. Because it was the middle of the day, there was nobody going up and it would be difficult to get rescue. But luckily, some climbers, they realized the problem and they dropped a separate line, and I used my ascender to pull myself up. And
slowly, okay?
it worked. Got down, maybe I just felt a little bit depressed. I just, sort of went into a bit of a zone. The reason why I call Phurba my brother.
That's it. This is my brother Phurba.
Yeah. 14 times Mount Everest.
14 times Mount Everest.
3 times K2.
One time pulled Akke out of a crevice.
Yeah.
This guy pulled me out of a crevice when I fell in. Thank you, brother.
Okay, me too.
I love you, brother.
Thank you.
You are my hero.
He's no longer with us. But yeah, that was the story there. We were waiting for the summit push, the weather window. We planned a date. We decided to go. So the night before, I fixed my gear, got my down suit out, let it air out, got my boots. We just got ready. And I remember the night before, I was sandwiched in a tent with 6 Sherpas because my tent had gone missing somehow. Touching the Death Zone in Camp 4, the plan was to get off at 7 o'clock and then we'd reach it by 6 in the morning or something like that. But I got out about 9 o'clock, I reckon. It was dark, lungs were burning. My Sherpa, there was a time when we were behind some slow climbers. My guide was like, you know what, we need to go in front of these guys. And I just thought to myself, oh God, this is going to take it out of me. So he just grabbed me and he goes, let's go. There was about 5 or 6 climbers that we were passing. It wasn't a great distance, but the exertion of energy that we had to put in just to get past them was like, oh God, I couldn't breathe. And I just thought to myself, what have I done here? I told you this was a bad idea. But nevertheless, because I'm resilient and I just keep on going, we slowed down and then we carried on ahead of these guys. And we did that throughout the route and moving up to the south summit, and I could see that famous ridge, and I just thought to myself, oh, I'm almost there. And then I remember changing one of my oxygen cylinders. We got a new one in, we left the old one there so we can pick it up later. We started going and it took maybe an hour and a half to reach the summit from there. Those last few steps, breaking down inside thinking, you know what, I've done it. But I know that this is only half the job, so I'm not really letting go. When I reached that summit, I just had this sense of relief. Like, I've done it. I feel okay about it as well because I didn't really burn myself out coming up. And I made a prayer, thanks God for bringing me up. Please take me back down safely. This is a really dangerous place. There's no time to cry or anything. We need to take our pictures, get some water down us and get off. I got the summit, I got the pictures. And we spent about 40 minutes there, to be honest with you. It was time to go, so we made our way down. Once you've got the summit, you just want to get off, but you can't rush it. A lot of the accidents on high altitude mountains happen on the descent rather than going up. And we got to Camp 2, it's a long day, and then we rested, got a night's sleep, and then back to base camp through the Khumbu Icefall again. So guys, I didn't really go into any of my background or anything. This is probably one of my greatest achievements, so I thought I'd talk about this one first. But if you want to know more about where I started, how I train and stuff, you can watch my other videos coming up soon. So what you need to do right now is hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and watch out for my next video.